Alright everybody, it's time for a quick little update. If you've been paying attention to my channel in recent weeks, you'll notice that I've been bringing back old unfinished LPs to just finish them or to continue them, like Sin and Punishment Star Successor and Pokemon Crystal Nuzlocke. So if you remember a while back, I started LPing The Evil Within before I just put it on unofficial hiatus because of a boss I was having troubles with. So yeah, it's been on hiatus for like almost half a year, really. So with that said, with a heavy heart, it pains me to say that I will be canceling it. Yes, I'm canceling the hiatus. The Evil Within will continue this week. But because it's been so long since we've last seen it, and you might have forgotten the story of it, I'm going to use this video to sort of bring you all up to date on the events of the game and where we left off. Oh, and if you're watching this LP after the fact, like through the playlist on my channel, well then this video won't really apply to you since you're, have kind of been sort of like splurging on the videos and stuff. But then again, I mean, who's to say that you might not be confused with the story yourself, and you might need this video to sort of bring you up to date on everything that's happened. So with that said, let's try to make this as quick as possible. Chapter 1. Detective Sebastian Castellanos and his partners Joseph and Kidman are called to investigate a hospital where multiple murders has taken place. While there, they witness on the security cameras a pale, hooded man killing multiple police officers that were on call before them, as well as hospital staff and patients. Suddenly, this man appears behind Sebastian and knocks him out. Sebastian wakes up in the hospital's basement, discovering he had been captured by a chainsaw-wielding maniac. He manages to escape to the outside where the city is appearing to fall apart all around him. His partners, along with a doctor by the name of Jimenez and his patient, a young boy named Leslie, pick him up in an ambulance and the group races to get out of the city. However, in their frenzy, they speed off a cliff and crash into the waters below. Chapter 2. Sebastian wakes up after having dreams of being in an asylum and discovers he's separated from the others. He sees Leslie and gives chase after him through a small village where the few inhabitants are turning into zombie-like monsters. Chapter 3. Sebastian finds Dr. Jimenez and the two work together to escape from another village and chase after Leslie. Sebastian also kills a chainsaw-wielding maniac here. Or does he? Chapter 4. The duo manages to find Leslie, but Sebastian gets separated from them again and ends up in a hospital, maybe? Anyway, while there, a deadly multi-limbed monster spider woman chases him down here. He manages to escape from her, but winds up face to face with the hooded man, who we now know is named Ruvik, thanks to Dr. Jimenez's earlier musings. Ruvik ends up sending Sebastian to the basement of this place. Chapter 5. Sebastian finds Joseph in the hospital, and the two end up locating Kidman in some kind of death trap. They manage to free her, but Sebastian gets separated from them again after the Spider-Woman grabs him. He manages to kill her. Or does he? Also, while in this strange part of the hospital, he has visions of Ruvik performing experiments on patients. Chapter 6. Sebastian finds himself transported into the wilderness where he meets up with Joseph again. The duo navigate through this area and the surrounding buildings and villages. They also fight their way through hordes of zombies, another chainsaw-wielding maniac, some zombies that took on jobs as executioners, and two giant monstrous twins to make their way into some kind of lab slash prison slash sacred ground. Once there, they fight a giant monster dog and enter a church. Chapter 7. In the church, Joseph gets some character development. We have not seen him since. Also, Sebastian gets transported to the catacombs of this church and navigates through them to find Leslie. The two stick together for a few seconds, and then they get separated again. And Sebastian does battle with a monster with a safe for a head. Sebastian kills him. Or does he? And retreats into some caves. Chapter 8. Sebastian goes through the caves and ends up in the hospital where he finds Dr. Jimenez, who explains his relationship with Ruvik. They're working on a way to link brains together. We find out that everything that's been happening is because of Ruvik and everyone's minds being linked with his. Jimenez hypothesizes that Ruvik wants to kill them all. Sebastian then gets chased by some kind of monstrosity formed of tons of bodies sewn together and comes face to face with Ruvik. Chapter 9. Sebastian wakes up near a mansion and enters it. While inside, he learns more and more about Ruvik's backstory, while being chased by Ruvik. Apparently, Ruvik's family was rich, and he was able to make his own research lab as a kid. However, he had a falling out with Dr. Jimenez and Jimenez's hospital, who was supplying him with supplies, as long as his family kept money going into their hands. Oh, and Ruvik killed his parents too. That's kind of important. Sebastian then gets transported to a barn after being chased through a hospital by a blood monster spirit thing. At this barn, he has a vision of a boy named Ruben and a girl named Laura playing together before some jealous townspeople burn down the barn with them inside. Because you see, they were mad that Ruben's family was rich. Ruben escaped, but Laura died. Sebastian then fights the blood monster there, who may have been the spirit of Ruben, and then gets transported back to the mansion. And then Chapter 10, Sebastian navigates through a hospital? Factory? Type of place? I have no clue what that was supposed to be. Well, whatever it was, he fights hordes of zombies and giant monsters there. He then gets chased down by Spider-Woman. Again. Sebastian escapes, gets taunted by Ruvik, and finds Dr. Jimenez in a lab trying to experiment with Leslie's brain to somehow get him to be able to combat Ruvik. Suddenly, that monstrosity from Chapter 8 shows back up and kills Dr. Jimenez. Sebastian then gets transported to a hospital where the monstrosity chases him into a parking lot. And this parking lot, where I struggled to beat that boss so many times in the past, is where we will pick things up next time. See you all then. Goodbye.